I realized I was ahead of myself. I've been posting on YouTube, posting these tutorials on how to render realistic hair, how to render a realistic nose, how to do an eye, how to draw a portrait, just, shading in general, creating realistic drawings so you guys can be able to create realistic drawings. But then I went through my comments in one of these videos, and one person said that maybe I should start from the very beginning. Although my work is good and I'm showing amazing tutorials, it's kind of hard to follow when you don't even know the basic steps. See, in my mind, I thought like teaching you guys how to cross hatch and hatch were like the basic steps, but they were not. There are lower steps that I can actually start off with to help you guys be able to draw with this tool. And not just shading, like I will go over that, but also the pressure you apply to the paper. I didn't think to create a video like that, but I am definitely going to do that. This is my plan. I'm going to start at the very bottom. So how to apply pressure to the paper. Of course, shading, hatching, cross hatching, stippling, circular, techniques and stuff like that. But also what kind of paper to choose, what kind of pen to choose. That's probably one of the most important things. And also how to erase mistakes or correct mistakes. So I'm gonna start at the very, very bottom and then work my way up. There are gonna be times where you might see a video where I'm gonna work on a full, rendered portrait or just a sketch with, no tutorial. I wanna give you guys a basic tool so you can become a better technical artist. When drawing with pen, this is the most important thing about it. Before you're worrying about how to make your drawings look amazing, what techniques to use, the most important thing is applying pressure. How much pressure do you apply with a ballpoint pen? Many beginners struggle with using a pen for the first time just because every time they hatch or cross hatch, it's like thick lines like this. And they can't get those light lines like this. And I struggled with that when I first started drawing with ballpoint pen. The solution to this problem is to practice. The more you hatch and cross hatch, the easier it becomes to create lighter lines. Yeah, you're gonna have your drawings at first that might be darker than you want it to be. The lines might be more defined, might be bolder than you want it to be. Over time, you'll learn how to transition from more pressure to lighter pressure throughout your drawing. So let me show you an example. Anyone can do this right now. You can apply more pressure. If I just do this, this is easily achievable by anyone watching right now. The harder thing is applying lighter pressure like this. Do you see the difference in how bold these lines are versus this line? So what I do to create this light pressure, I barely rest my pen on the paper. So if you just rest your pen on the paper like this, don't apply pressure at all, just let it rest and then just draw a line without adding any pressure. This is me barely touching the paper, like no pressure, but there is still ink coming out of the pen. You do this technique slowly, make sure you're not applying pressure, let the pen rest. And once you get more comfortable with this, you do it even faster. Try not to apply that much pressure. The faster you go, the more pressure you're going to apply. And then once you get to a point like this, once you get to this point where this part is more cohesive, you keep that same pressure. You don't change your pressure. Keep it light, and then you could do this. And this is me like not even really applying pressure, just letting the pen rest on the paper and doing this. And this is super smooth. Like look at the skin on this portrait, super smooth. I use the same exact technique. Now the better you get and the more advanced you get at this, you're gonna do this easily, where the lines are a little bit more defined, and then you get to layer and layer and layer these hatching marks or cross hatching marks. It's all about layering, and it's all about the pressure you apply to the paper. And this paper I'm using is mixed media paper. It's not watercolor paper. So this can work on pretty much any paper. I think it's better to start a practice on mixed media paper or printing paper just because it's harder to do. And once you practice that more, the easier it becomes. Once you transition to watercolor paper, it will make your pen marks look way better. And you're going to get to a point where you can hatch really dark and then slowly transition to like the lighter shading like this. Hopefully this helped you understand how pressure is applied and how you can implement the same techniques to create this lighter hatching, or it can be cross hatching, or this darker hatching or cross hatching. You can do it. I believe in you. Make sure you check out my book on how to draw with a ballpoint pen in the description down below, because if you want to get to a point where you can draw with pen, rendering things like this hair right here, or even this ear right here, like, or just learning how to draw with a ballpoint pen. My book has everything you need to know when it comes to how to draw with a pen for, basically beginners or someone who's kind of just starting off and who wants to get to this point. How to hatch properly, how to correct mistakes, how to transition from the dark values to the lighter values. Like, it has a lot in there that can really help you progress even further if you had this knowledge. I really appreciate you guys watching. Make sure you comment down below and let me know what you think and what should I go over next.